Oh my God! You know what? I almost don't even want to talk about the debate because there was nothing new tonight in this debate. Do I stop this now? I'm recording it. So.
Just put on mute because I want to see.
Yeah, that's fine. My remote sucks ass. I'm getting started here. She still doesn't want to kiss her father. Oh, this stupid remote. There's a mute. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Well, let's get out of the way what just happened. And this is another debate that is virtually meaningless. Trump face was funny tonight. Yeah, I like for 3 debates in a row. I basically saw a man who was coached on what not to do, and then he spent 90 minutes doing his damnedest not to do what he was told not to do. I'm not going to make any faces. I'm not going to make any faces. This is his inner monologue. Not going to make any faces. What did she say? I am wrong. And he tried not to say it, but he's like, I know if I say it, Alec Baldwin's going to make fun of me. Wrong. And he just he had to go there, right? He had to go there. And yeah, well, that's, a lot of times these great political characters on SNL become what we remember. I mean, does anybody really remember George Bush 41 at this point? Or remember Dana Carvey? In fact, at one point, Donald Trump said, it's bad. I said, holy shit, his debate prep is just watching Dana Carvey satire of Bush 41. It's bad. Or even worse, Saturday Night Live, Frankenstein, fire, bad, it's bad.
My favorite was the Ed McMahon impression. You are correct, sir.
Oh, and Chris Wallace is like, I'm dealing with a 4-year-old here. You are correct, sir. Or thank you, sir.
He said correct.
You are correct. Thank you, sir. I think Chris Wallace is one of the greatest journalists in America. He is Fox News, and for those on the left that are left of me, probably don't like anything about Fox News, but Chris Wallace used to be NBC, son of Mike Wallace, right? One of the greatest journalists, especially in this area, period. And I'm so glad we got to see somebody from Fox. I was watching this entire debate in a very interesting context. Earlier today, I was driving around right before the debate and a couple hours ago, and just on a whim, I put on 770 in New York, which is basically the Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity wacko station, right? Which is not the most wackiest crap out there. You drive down south or Midwest, they seem like liberals to the idiots that are on the radio out there, right? But it's just scary shit once you get out there on the radio. And I love listening to this stuff once in a while because I just want to I don't want to just be one of these people that lives in New York and says, oh, those alt-right people are this, those alt-right people are that. Because I like to hear them call into radio stars like Mark Levine and really hear what they feel and think. So you really get to know what's going on there. Because I remember throughout early Obama and all these liberals complaining about Mitch McConnell being too conservative and John Boehner and the conservatives and blah, 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 blah. And basically one caller after another is saying, we need to go more conservative. We need to take back our party from the people like Mitch McConnell and John Boehner that are ruining the party. And and all of a sudden, and then Mark Levine saying that, no, Donald Trump is not the alt-right. Donald Trump is being propped up by Bernie Sanders progressives. I'm sorry, there's a small percentage of people that are for Bernie, that were for Bernie, that are for Donald because they don't like her. There's a tiny number of people, but this is the shit that people like Mark Levine are saying. And then all the people that call into a show like that represent the wackiest among the alt-right. And I was listening to them, and they are honestly concerned. They're wacko, but they're wacko because they've drunk the Kool-Aid. They're wacko because of people like Mark Levine that are out there just trying to make a lot of bucks, not a buck, like a lot of bucks off of the ignorance and arrogance of the alt-right. You know, this subculture that thinks Fox News is liberal. That's what they were calling. We can't even launch Fox News anymore because clearly they're part of the Hillary Clinton liberal machine. Like, what? Like, have we gotten that far? Have those people gotten so far that Fox News, they expect Fox News, which is right of center, even without Roger Ailes, they're right of center. Just like MSNBC is left of center. No, they are not owned by the Clinton machine. They are not owned by the DNC. They have to be populated by employees that think Donald Trump is batshit crazy as a president, that think Alex Jones is batshit crazy, that think the alt-right are batshit crazy. And maybe they're wrong, but in their heart of hearts, they believe as strongly that you're batshit crazy as much as you believe that everyone should believe what you believe. They believe everybody should believe what they believe. You believe everybody should believe what you believe. It's not a conspiracy. It's extreme liberalism, extreme conservatism. And the few people that are in the right, in the middle, which I believe John Boehner is right of center, but he's relatively in the middle. Paul Ryan's a little farther right of John Boehner, but he's in like the realm of, and my liberal friends are going to not like me saying this, he's in the realm of like, we could get shit done here if he wasn't being held hostage by the fucking wackos. And the liberals can say the same thing. They could get shit done if it wasn't for like the wackos that think Jill Stein is the answer. I'm sorry, and I would listen to more liberal radio. I had actually a guy for the first time yesterday, Randy, I think his name was like, I forget the radio guy's name. Have you listened to so-and-so? Usually I get that from the extreme right. Have you listened to Alex Jones? Have you listened to this guy, to that guy? I'm like, actually I have. I was, in the 1990s, a 770 listener all day long. After 9/11, I listened to 770 looking for answers. And it was actually, before 9/11, it didn't hit me as much until after 9/11, when all the wackos really started calling in to 770. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, and then all of a sudden around that time you noticed like all the commercials on those radio shows were for like survival shit and internet security, and basically even the commercials, the shit that they were selling on these shows to keep them on the radio for their 20 million listeners, all that shit was like paranoia in a bottle. And that was 15 years ago now. 20 years ago, I moved here and I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and then I became a Yankees fan. So that served, and the Yankees got me through 9/11. That wonderful ride. You know, we needed that. Say what you want about the Yankees. In 2001, New Yorkers needed the Yankees to win. Okay, we needed them that summer. It's gotten to a point, and I don't want alt-right people to just hear me say, oh, I think you're batshit crazy. No, I think you think you're right. I respect that you believe that you think you're right. And I would say the same thing to the liberals right now, but the liberals aren't the ones scaring the shit out of me. Okay? Yay, go Yankees! Yay! The liberals are not the ones scaring the shit out of me. Holy fuck, we gotta make sure they're not dying in the streets or starving and like living without houses and stuff, and like these kids, like holy crap, we can't let them starve, these kids, like I'm not saying the liberals are right on everything, especially the far left, and the people that were trying to get Hillary to say, you gotta promise to never take another ounce of fossil fuel out of the ground. You know, it's a great goal. I think it's a smart goal, because I think, raping the earth of fossil fuels eventually could destroy the earth. Potentially. Science is kind of leaning that way, right? But the people that completely denies the existence of science on the far right scare the shit out of me. The people that call into these radio shows scare the shit out of me because they're scared. They're scared. They honestly believe if Hillary becomes the president that the world is going to just explode, that this is the apocalypse. They honestly believe that these are the end times. And it's not me saying that. Like, literally, polls say, yeah, we're living in the end times. And the only thing that's going to bring about the end times is if these people gain power. Because they're scaring the shit out of me. I'm sorry. I'm angry in the middle. I'm not a liberal. I'm probably fucking liberal compared to you, but I am not a liberal. I'm registered GOP. I'm registered Republican in New Jersey as of yesterday. And I was running away from the GOP. I grew up a Republican. I ran away from the GOP after 9/11. Because you were scaring the shit out of me. But you know what? Because too many of us left the party to you, that's why this country's fucked up right now. That is why this country has gone to fucking hell. I was literally hearing people on Mark Levine's show saying basically it's Fox News' fault. It's Mitch McConnell's fault. It's John Boehner's fault that Donald Trump is all we have. And Mark Levine is like, I've been saying all along. I think Mark Levine is a very smart guy. Mark Levine is one of those guys. He's very smart. Where Donald Trump is just talking out of his ass, Mark Levine is calculated. Not that he doesn't believe what he says, but he's saying what he says to sell fucking advertising and get more listeners. And for that, I think you're a fucking asshole. You're a douchebag. Same thing for Rush Limbaugh. Alex Jones, you're just batshit crazy. I'm sorry. I don't think Rush Limbaugh's batshit crazy. He might be he's like Trump now. They might be like in the early stages of dementia. But it is cold. It is calculating. It's what sells your shit. But you know what's happened as a result? Your Kool-Aid drinking blind followers that think your made-up world, that we need to be more conservative, like this shit is not conservative enough for you. John Boehner wasn't conservative enough for you. Paul Ryan's not conservative enough for you. We gotta burn, scorch and burn, scorched earth policy on the GOP because they're not letting our extreme right-wing ways get into the White House, yo, motherfuckers. Yeah. Budweiser, American beer. Get this microbrews and German shit. South Africans got wine now. I ain't drinking that shit. South Africa. Even though the white people used to run it, but they ruined that shit. They let the blacks go have a president already. They beat us. I'm sorry. I'm ready to scorch earth on the alt-right. Because I think that's the only fucking way that this country moves forward. Is we call out every fucking moron. And I don't care if you're Ivy League. You might still be a moron. Because you're just not paying attention. Well, the fiasco, the last 3 debates were a fucking embarrassment to this country. Fucking embarrassment. And you know what? I was just as angry when I heard Hillary Clinton deflect. They both do it. But you would hear Hillary Clinton babble for 2 minutes about, I got real plans. I got things. And we can argue all day long whether those things are good or bad. And then you hear Donald Trump, I'm the greatest, it's good, Russia's bad, but I used to say I know Putin, now I'm saying I don't know Putin. It's all their fault, it's her fault, it's probably, Hillary's probably the one that made them leave the microphones on in the bus of Access Hollywood. It's her fault, Billy Bush might lose his job. And, I'm angry to hear another old white guy shame victims. I'm just as angry as I was in the 90s when Clinton did it. So, certainly, saying it's okay that Clinton did it is not the argument. Because nobody thought it was okay when Clinton did it. No. There are many in the DNC, which I was not one of them, that apologize and look the other way. When maybe he should have been impeached for some of the shit he said and did. There were just too many women who thought he was too cute. We needed him for president. There were too many liberals that said, oh, it's a right-wing conspiracy. There were right-wing conspiracies. There have been many right-wing conspiracies against the Clintons that were complete bullshit. But the sex scandal wasn't one of them. Lying about the sex scandal wasn't one of them. What the word is means is fucking bullshit. And if you're a liberal that defends that statement, you're just as bad as the alt-right shitheads. I'm sorry. This is why I'm angry in the middle. Because the bullshit on both sides, right? And it's the alt-right, the radio media that supports and propagates the alt-right, trying to fight with Fox Media to be the voice of the GOP, all fighting internally with Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, Paul Ryan, yada, 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 yada. There are so many wonderful people in this country that would make a great president. And you know what? None of them want the fucking job because of the shit you're going to put them through. Nobody wants the job because an honorable person wouldn't know what the fuck to do with this shit. It takes somebody like Hillary Clinton to navigate this shit. So that's your fault too. It's just as much your fault that Hillary Clinton is right now the possible person running for president. It's your fault. Your bullshit that has destroyed the Republican Party. The Republican Party does stand for something. It is honorable. And it's been torn to shreds by this bullshit. The Democratic Party used to be like this. But again, at the same time, other than a few eco-terrorists that would burn up things and plants, there were a few of them out there, Greenpeace and other people. There are people out there willing to do extreme things that are pretty much on the same line as an alt-right asshole shooting an abortion doctor, right? Like creating, committing murder, destroying property in the name of idealism. Fuck you. Fuck you both. Fuck both sides. Sorry. I'm a little angry tonight. And it's not even just angry. It's just frustration that is so far because every time I tweeted tonight, tearing apart Real Donald Trump, at Real Donald Trump on Twitter. Every tweet that I tweeted, tearing him a new asshole, was through the lens of, it's not his fault. It's his fault that he's fucking ignorant on every subject that you really need to be knowledgeable about to be president. Because he's had 3 debates, and there's one answer, and I'm forgetting what it was. There's one answer, I think it was the Syria answer, that was the one that sounded like he knew what he was talking about if you have no fucking clue what's really going on in Syria. Like if you were Gary Johnson, you might have, like that clueless shithead on Aleppo, you might have watched what Donald Trump said about Syria and said, see, he knows shit. But it was all bullshit. He dropped Putin. He said Russia. He said Syria. It's a disaster. It's been lost. I don't care what you say. We fucked up. Blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, dude. That's the most comprehensive answer you've given all night. And it was bullshit. You're like a D student trying to give an A student style oral report. It ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. You're too dumb and ignorant. Not that you're like low intelligence. It's not a lack of IQ. It's a fucking laziness. You claim that Hillary lacks stamina? Maybe she doesn't need to be out there as much as you are because she's been preparing for this her entire fucking life. You've been preparing to grab pussy. That's pretty much what your whole focus in life. The more money I make, the more pussy I can grab and get away with it. That's pretty much the legacy of the real fucking Donald Trump. And that's all you're good for. And apparently you're not even that great for that. Because none of these women seem happy about it. Sorry, try to say that with a straight face. Oh, Marco Rubio moment.
Yo, I wouldn't be happy if anyone grabbed my pussy. not my husband, not anyone.
No, not happy. I mean, he's got billionaires, so he's a billionaire, so he's thinking, oh, if I come out against him, he can afford the lawyer that's going to tear me up, so I'm not going to come out. Until now, that he was such an arrogant piece of shit last Sunday, yeah, we're coming out. I'm coming out. I don't even want to listen to the post. I'm kind of curious to hear what people like Eugene Robinson and Steve Schmidt and these, you know, the smart people. I don't really care for what the reporters have to say, but the columnists and the Republican strategists, like the people that are respected in the Republican Party. I'm not talking about the leaders. I'm talking about the people that have run real Republican campaigns, and they've lost. The only reason that Bush got in is because Clinton fucked up at the end. The sex scandals, Al Gore didn't have a shot, and it really wasn't all that presidential. When he's taking lessons on how to be an alpha male, that was just kind of sad. Trying to figure out how to have more gravitas. He's an egghead. He and John Kerry, I think, are both very, very smart guys. Not bad leaders, but they just don't have that, what you need. Not that Bush did. I don't know. I still don't get a lot of what happened. But, it's like, we've been, like, fighting over, like, worst possible, like, flip of a coin. I can't remember in my lifetime ever voting for someone and saying, I am so happy I voted for this guy, except President Obama. President Obama is the only guy, and this is probably why I left the GOP, because I said, you know what? I don't agree with everything Obama wants to do or did. But he was the one with the hopeful message that we really fucking needed. Now, the racist shitheads in the alt-right never heard it because all they saw was the color of his skin. And the fact that, oh shit, we were caught sleeping here. One of these Negroes got in the office. It's a White House, not a black house. Holy! So they never heard the hopeful message. And as we had this 1% slow growth, which somehow, like, Donald Trump talks about a 1% slow growth like it's a recession. It's almost a recession. Holy crap, so you'd rather have another fake rise so that you can, like, get your stock prices up, sell them off before the next crash, and all these insider traders can do their tricks again. Right? We'd like to have this bubble, because what we need is a bubble every 10 years, and then all your friends could say, hey, it's about to go to shit, sell it off. And then you sell it off, and then when all goes to shit, you have the cash on hand, so you can buy it off of everybody's 401k. That's just like, I just need to get all these old people. They're like, holy shit, we had a crash. If I don't get my money out of the market. So you buy low, and you wait for the next fucking bubble. Right? And so you buy low every 5 to 10 years after your friends and cronies drive it down because of all the shit, the Madoff types and all the insider trading, all the bullshit. You're so fucking worried about the corruption in D.C. Like, this is what I don't understand. It's okay to regulate blacks and gays. We're going to regulate gay marriage. We're going to regulate a woman's choice to do it with her own fucking choice of her own fucking body. But we're going to let Wall Street and people like Trump putting up buildings and not paying people for putting them up, yet collecting millions and millions and millions of dollars when these people, like the real people, the so-called working families that are for Trump, they're disappearing fast. But those are the people that are supporting him, because you're the ones that he just shits on left and right and then won't let into the golf course that he wants to play on. He likes building fancy golf courses and playing on them with all of his rich friends. You're not going to be allowed on them. You might be allowed to help build them, but don't expect to get paid when he comes up short at the fucking end. Oh, I'm a genius businessman. The fact that he made billions off of all these projects doesn't make him a genius businessman. It makes him a genius scam fucking artist. And I'm sorry, I'm only yelling at you not because I think you're a moron, I think you're fucking blind. You're so fucking angry and scared that you're turning to hate. Stop. If you're stupid, stop blaming the black man for your shitty attitude. Stop, because you're fucking drunk and can't fucking keep a job. Don't blame the black man or the gay man or the woman. Or you put all your eggs in one basket because your Republican friend said, oh, if we support Lee Iacocca. I don't remember if Lee Iacocca was Republican or Democrat. I'm going too far back. I'm really out of my league right now. There's just way too much shit. You know why we are where we are? And it's not just the alt-right. I'm sorry. The blind followers, Kool-Aid drinking folks on the left. That's why we have Hillary as well. And you've left me with this thing to say Hillary is the only choice in 2016. The only choice. So fuck you for not giving me a choice, America. Fuck you, extreme left. Fuck you, extreme right, for totally fucking up our country. Come back to the fucking table and stop bitching and moaning until you do. I don't want to hear another left-wing or right-wing nut job bitch and moan about the direction of our country until you come back to the fucking table and listen to somebody that maybe thinks differently than you think and have some empathy. Let's try to raise the emotional IQ, because I know a lot of really smart people that are just fucking dumb on both sides of the fucking aisle. And I'm being very, I'm sorry, thank you. I'm being a little forceful here, but like I said, I watched this entire debate with the goggles of, after listening to Mark Levine's show for about an hour in small doses, not all at once. I think if I listened to that show for an entire hour, I would have run into a light post with my car and committed suicide because it was driving me fucking nuts. I'm saying, bad enough that this guy's promoting this shit. Bad enough this guy's promoting this shit that all these people are listening. And he would actually say, you could tell when they call in, he doesn't believe what they're saying. They don't believe what they're saying. If Trump believes what he's saying now, it's only because he's been screaming it for a year and a half, and he loves the applause. Trust me, I'm a performer. I get it. I'm a comedian who's bullshit my way through many shows. I do improv comedy. I make the entire shit up as I go. But I don't promise anybody anything other than laughs and a diversion from shit like you spew. That's all I do. I spend 90 minutes at a time, maybe 30, maybe 60. I don't blame me. I caucus for Bernie Sanders, yeah. And it's not any one individual, but except supporting Bernie Sanders, I'm not saying you, and I'm like, it's not a specific you. I'm saying you, like every single American. Because basically, the entire country is on this, slider, right? It's like the pH slider. There's a balance, right? There's a 7, right? Everybody knows pH, acid, basic, balance, right? I'm a lifeguard, so I think of it this way. There's a balance right here in the middle. That's the middle of my screen. I think that's the middle for you. And that's a 7. 7 is a balance, pH, right? Anything below it's an acid, everything's above it's basic. I'm not going to say which is acidic, which one's basic. It depends on your perspective. And then everyone is somewhere between 0 and 14. You're somewhere on that slider scale. And we have too many people that are like 1s and 14s right now. There are just way too many people in this country that are 1s and 14s. I don't care if you're left or right. I ran away from the GOP. I listed myself as independent. I voted Obama twice for president. I registered as a GOP yesterday because my job in life at this point is to bring the GOP back to center. I reach out to all my liberal friends to do the same with the Democratic Party. It's the only way that Congress and the president and whoever ends up in the Supreme Court can go back to governing, can go back to leading, can go back to fixing problems, because they can't fix shit right now. You can't hold Obama, or you can't blame Obama for doing these executive orders, because shit needs to get done. But by forcing him to do executive orders to get shit done, you're driving the wedge. Nobody wants to sit down and talk. I could sit down and say, as a constitutional scholar that I'm not, and go and talk. Yeah, when Obama did this, he might have been pushing the limits of his power as president. This, and this. But what choice does he have? I mean, they've given him no choice. I remember throughout the 2000s, Republicans saying the reason we had so much prosperity in the 2000s is because we fixed, like as Republicans, we made everything great. And then all the Democrats, the reason we had prosperity in the 90s is because Clinton made everything great. You're both wrong. You fought just enough. You tore each other up just enough, but you came together just enough. So you didn't compromise on the big things, but you did on the small. You didn't compromise on you didn't waste too much time on the ideologue shit on either side. We stopped. I mean, other than on Rush Limbaugh and the nut jobs, right? Like those people, and as you heard them talking about, oh, they're going to take our guns away, blah 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 blah, or oh, they're going to make us like they're going to get rid of abortion, oh, like both sides. Like, I felt like the people in the middle, the adults in the room, were like kind of ignoring that shit in the 90s. And maybe that's why they got louder, and then 9/11 happened. 9/11 happened, and all of a sudden, in New York, what's funny, in 9/11, where we really got affected by this shit, we all kind of came together. We all kind of like started like getting along. Didn't last, I mean, it's New York, give us a break. But for like 3 weeks, I didn't see somebody curse somebody out. Maybe that, why? A little secret. People come to New York and think New Yorkers are rude. No, we didn't have any tourists for 3 weeks. Now, I don't want the tourists to go away. The tourists keep me in business as an actor. So don't go away. But the people that come to the city and say, oh my God, New York is so rude. It's fucking you. It's your neighbors. You come to New York and like, oh my God, there's so much traffic. Oh my God, I can't deal with the noise. I can't deal with it. We deal with it. We get just fine. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. Next time you want to bitch and moan, because I feel very comfortable bitching and moaning because I've been very, very self-reflective and I've been very, very open-eyed to the extreme scale. Next time you want to just start screaming about the other side, please do me a favor, shut the fuck up and be a little more introspective before you do. Next time you just want to react to someone being a shithead, an asshole, or a moron. I spend a lot of time thinking about assholes and morons as a professional comedian. I have an entire comedy routine. But here's the thing. At the end of it, I come to it and I said, what we really need to do is stop reacting to assholes and morons by being assholes and morons. Every lawyer will say, what do you do about assholes? I'm getting to it. I have a prescription at the end of this rant. There are a lot of assholes and morons, and they're on the rise. I'm an asshole by proxy, because in my defense mechanism is to become an asshole. Ask my wife about my road rage. And it's only in the last couple years. Like, I have gotten worse in how I deal with assholes and morons. I bragged for the first 40 years of my life about how well I turned the other cheek, how well I rose above the bullshit, how well I wasn't affected. Now, I think a lot of that was a lie to myself because I wasn't always that great with it. But often, if I didn't know the person, I didn't let that person bother me. To the point where I would turn my back, and 3 times in the last decade, turning my back to an asshole got hit over the back of the head. Now, the good thing is I'm a pretty solidly built together, and they're always some shitty, scrawny little fuck that he thinks he has muscles. And I've been lucky that they didn't. And each time, they hit me over the back of the head, and it stings for a second. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You just hit me in the back of the head, you fucking coward? You fucking coward? And then I would just stand there. And the cops would see it. I would just stand there, and this guy goes, ah! And I just stood there. And this is like how I dealt with these assholes and morons. here's the end of the thing, and this is especially for all those that are alt-right that hide behind your false Christianity. And next time you want to go judging somebody, let's go right back to the Bible, because you love to quote the Bible. Love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Not do unto others what they do to you. Because I feel like we've come to a place 2,000 years later where too many people are acting from a vengeful place. From everyone else is being a shithead, so I'm going to be a shithead. Everyone's being dumb, so I'm going to be dumb. Do unto others as they do to you. That's the new Christianity of the alt-right. And it's not even what they do to you, it's what you're afraid they're going to do to you. Do unto others because you're afraid that the blacks are coming to get you. Do unto others because you're afraid the gays want to like fuck you or something. Trust me, they don't want anything to fucking do with you, little fucking shitheads. They don't want anything to do with you. They don't want anything to do with me, and I'm like an actor. Like, you know, there's a couple chubby chasers I've had to like remind I'm married happily to a woman. But that's another story. I'm not going there. Do unto others before the Muslims get a chance to do unto you. No. Go right back to the JC man. And I'm not the most religious person out there. Most of the time when I'm in church, it's because I'm paid to sing there. So, thank you, Christianity, for continuing to pay my bills, because I sing. I love you. Do unto others as you want them to do to you. If you want black people to treat you like shit, keep doing what you're fucking doing. You want the Mexicans to come into your neighborhood and treat you like shit, keep doing what you're doing. You want to never, ever hold the White House again, keep treating women the way you're doing. And don't get me started about the gays. I mean, dude, you know, I don't understand it. I mean, if nothing else, and this might be a horrible, like, not a homophobia thing, but, you know, like a gay bashing thing to say. But look what they've done for New York City. I hope they don't go to your fucking hellhole of Bayou or wherever backward shit place you go to like whatever you do. Because I want them all to stay in New York City. Because you know what? I've never walked down, and you can say what you want about, and I'm not trying to be like a racist here, but you know, I don't understand it. I understand you fearing blacks and Hispanics to a degree. I understand it because when you watch movies, are the ones, like all the gangs, you know, they really don't talk about the skinheads much. They don't talk, you know, all and the whatnot. You see the Mexican cartel, right? You see the Bloods, the Crips. You see those. That's who you see in the movies. That's what you see when you go to like a really depressing neighborhood in New York City, because like when they stopped being slaves and had nowhere else to go, like they all just went to the ghetto. Like you didn't give them a lot of fucking choice, so don't blame them, right? Yada yada. But I've never walked down a block with a bunch of gay guys hanging out thinking, oh, I hope I get down this street with my life. So I don't get it. Maybe you don't want to take pictures of their wedding. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. If you're making so much money, but at the same time, these same people are complaining that they can't find work. Right? You can't find work, and the only work you can find is to take pictures of a gay wedding? Now, why a gay guy, a couple, would want your, you know, bigoted shithead face in their wedding to begin with, I don't know. I don't understand this whole controversy that's going on in Middle America. I don't understand either side of this argument, because I see more cons for both than pros. For both, I don't see the advantages of this argument. But if you are having a hard time paying your bills, Why are you going to turn down? And these places, like, was it Kentucky or wherever the place was, where that crazy shithead lady didn't want to, like, give marriage license to gay people after the judge said she had to?